Day 18, part 1. So in this video I want to talk about collecting biological data. So basically what I mean by biological data is your own data. Keeping track of the way you behave under specific circumstances. For example, in one of my previous videos, I talked about how you can optimize your daily routine by figuring out at what times of the day your energy levels fluctuate, and the way you do that is by tracking your behavior and your energy levels throughout the day periodically, and doing that over a set period of time. So that would be like every 1 hour, thinking about how you feel and writing it down, and doing that every single day for 2 weeks. And after a while, you'll be able to look back at your own biological data and see a pattern and understand at what points of the day you tend to have the most energy, what points of the day you tend to have the least amount of energy based on what you were doing at those times. And so the reason why I think collecting such data is so useful is because it's basically your own optimization tool. Collecting data enables you to tailor any piece of advice, any information that you hear online to yourself. If you have the right data, you can modify the things that you learn to make them work for you. For example, if let's say I'm talking about productivity, I give you a piece of advice. Maybe it's about how to appropriately use the Pomodoro technique. And I might recommend that you use a 45-15 split or a 50-10 split. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Pomodoro technique, it's basically when you set a timer to work for a specific duration of time, and then you take a break for a specific duration of time afterwards, and then you repeat that for a couple of cycles, and then after a while, after 4 to 5 cycles, you take an even longer break. So that's the Pomodoro method in a gist. But let's say I recommended a specific split, and that you should do it at let's say I tell you that you should do it at 10 a.m. for example. All right. Now, some of you might not even wake up by 10 a.m. But let's just say that you do wake up well before 10 a.m. and I tell you that you should do it. You should work. You should work on your most important tasks at that time. I'm probably never going to tell you something like this, but just for the sake of an example, okay? So if I tell you that, because and my reasoning for telling you that is because people tend to have the most amount of energy at 10 a.m. But you, based on your own biological data, know that you tend to have the most amount of energy at, let's say, 12 p.m. So instead of applying my advice to use the Pomodoro technique at 10 a.m. Instead, you could still use my advice if you find it useful, of course, and apply the Pomodoro technique at 12 p.m. when it's more relevant to you. It's more relevant to your body. And so having biological data is extremely useful because you can tailor any piece of information to work for you. So when people say do what works for you, how do you actually figure that out? You have to test it, right? But testing over and over and over again can be a pretty big waste of time. So instead of doing that, yes, you're still going to have to test it to a certain extent, but if you have the right biological data that tells you when is the best time for you to do specific things, and you have a general understanding of that, then it'll be much easier for you to test whether or not a new strategy or a new piece of advice or a new technique actually works for you. And you can adjust it accordingly. It's going to be a lot more efficient. You're going to save much more time. You're going to be a lot less stressed about the whole process. And so that's basically it for this one. I just thought I'd share that with you. And yeah, see you in the next one.